everybody. We are Team 2. My name is Jacob.
I'm Kira. Hi. Okay, so on the stage we have our team. This is Shane. He did all the amazing music that you're going to hear, so shout out to Shane. And he'll also be playing what you see on the big screen. And then next we have Adrian, Wing, Tim, and then over there by the server computer is Ryan. So our game is called the Chords of Chaos. And this is the first ever rhythmic-based game that we have had in CSE 125, according to our professor. So look forward to that. What we wanted to do is create something a little bit different, and what we ended up making is a collaborative, again, rhythm-based game where you have one boss enemy, and there will be 4 players playing to try to defeat this enemy. We have a variety of different player types and different boss attacks that you'll be able to see throughout the game. And something that we really wanted to try was a fun, like, futuristic, cyberpunk-y type of aesthetic. So we tried to emulate that in the music that was created, as well as art. And except for the boss model, which is the Warren bear, if you guys are familiar with that bear, and then the player model, most of the art and all the music was created by our group. So, yeah. So, is there anything else you want?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more about the inspiration on the game. Like, there's a ton of rhythm games out there already. And I know, like, Osu or, like, Dislight or, like, I mean, even Dance Dance Revolution. So we wanted to make something, like, a little bit different. And that's why we added the aspect of the boss. So our game is a little bit like if you combined Elden Ring with Osu. And, yeah, there's a big challenge to it. So, I mean, if you like either of those games, who here has played Elden Ring? Ooh, okay. Osu? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, if you have a combination of those, or if you just want to try out the game, why don't we see a show of hands for, like, anyone who wants to volunteer? Let's get that one, all the way in the back. Yeah. And then the one right there in the middle in the black hoodie. Oh. All right, so as our team continues to set up, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Yeah. It was an absolute heroic effort last night. I had my friends deliver a box of Red Bull so that we could continue working throughout the night. And yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys what 1 hour of sleep created. Okay, as people are still loading up the game, let's explain a little bit about the gameplay. So the players will have to input combos on rhythm, on beat, since it is a rhythm-based game. And after 4 hits, they will be able to perform a certain type of skill based on the combination of keys that they have pressed. And we have an attack, a heal, and a revive that actually happens creates like very fun interactions and a speed boost. Yeah. Ooh. Yes. All right. Now, as we've loaded in, you can see the player model right there. It's a little bit of a robot. You can see the boss health bar at the bottom right there. If you see that little bear right there, I thought it was a very cute addition. And then on the top left, you see your own health bar, and you see all your teammates' health bars, and you can see your teammate over there running around. Yeah.
And on the side, if you see the music notes, those are how many notes that you've hit so far. Once you hit 4, that's when you get a combo.
Okay, so as you can see that Shane out here is hitting those combos, and the boss is actually chasing him right now, since he is the closest character to the boss. You can see the boss actually doing swipe attacks on the ground right there that he has to dodge, otherwise he would get hit. And Shane is actually very good with the beat, so he can hit it on the 8th notes. Usually, I would be missing all of those. Yeah, and as you can see now, the boss has started targeting someone else. I don't know if you noticed that, but once you take a little bit of damage, you can hear a little sound effect for that that Shane created himself and added in. and a little camera shake just to add a little bit of that game juice.
And if you see him rolling on the ground, while you're moving, if you press the shift key, that's a dodge. So even if the boss technically hits you, if you're dodging or rolling on the ground, then you won't take damage.
Yeah, very much like Elden Ring or like the Souls-like games that some of you have played. Like dodge is like your most important button. Yeah, just to get out of all the boss attacks. Oh, so as you can hear, he's trying to hit the heal combo at the moment, which is a different combination of notes. And we try to match the notes to the sound of the music as well, so that it sounds like you're playing the melody to challenge and beat the boss. There you go, and we get a speed boost. Okay, and that sound is the attack sound. Oh, and here we have phase 2 of the boss. So he's jumping up and down doing a wave attack, and I don't know if you heard that as well. The music has also transitioned into phase 2. Shane wrote this, by the way. He made this music. It looks like our 3 team members here are quite low. Oh, one of them is dead. Hey guys, can we get a revive real quick? Okay, so we found our dead friend. So in order to perform a little revive, you have to hit the revive combo 4 times in a row. So it really is a challenge for you to hit the combo and like pay attention to the boss attacks while staying on beat to the rhythm. It's a lot of things to think about. Usually, I can only do one thing at a time. All right, and I think that's 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see him get up with the 4th one. Let's go. We have a second friend that's down. He needs help. It actually took me quite an effort to actually like align those animations with when the attack spawns as well. I had to do a lot of hacky kind of coding, like, oh, put a delay in here in order to time the animation with our attacks. Oh, 2 of our friends are dead. All right, it's gonna have to be a real heroic effort from Shane here. One more revive. Now the pressure's really on, you know, when you're the only team member of your... Hang on, I'll be right there, you know?
Also, if you notice, every time before the boss attacks, it will face the nearest player, and that's another feature that we added in.
Oh no! Okay, just one more revive. Nice. All right, looks like we're nearing half health on the boss. And you guys can listen for it this time. When it transitions in phase 3. Yeah.
So for this phase, the boss attacks change so that big circles are created around every alive player. And so the players have to keep moving to avoid taking damage within those circles.
Okay, Shane, here's the real hero hour. You are the only one alive now. So we actually ran into a very rare feature where if you press a couple of buttons in the right way, we will actually crash the server.
Restart,
Yeah.
and then we'll open up the Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone have questions or comments?
Questions
Yes.
Import.
Animations.
The question was, how did you import animations for the player? Yeah, so we made all the animations in Blender. The model, I think we probably grabbed off online. And then we made all the animations for it, and then we export them very much like Group 1 as GLTFs and .bins, and then using a library called Asset Importer, shortened to ASIMP, we are able to load in all of our animations and all of our models. Yeah. Any other questions? We have one right there in the back there. Oh, we'll start here.
Sorry. Is the music something static, or do you guys randomize it at like different intervals?
So the music changes based on the phase of the boss you're on. So as the phase of the boss advances, the music will advance, like more parts come in and add to the music. So right now you hear just the bass, and when we transition to phase 2, more of the parts come in, and you feel more energetic, more action going on.
But the music itself are from MP3 files that are looped, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Oh, 2 questions. One, how do you distinguish between like different types of combos? Like I'm guessing like different keystrokes correspond to like different like actions in the game. And then secondly, like how do you ensure that like the timing is matching with the beat? Like, cause the beat might change depending on which phase you're in, right? Like how do you ensure that the keystrokes also map to the beat?
Oh, yeah. So the question, there's 2 parts to the question. One was how do we handle the player combos, like the different keystrokes? And the next question was how do we check if we hit or miss? I assume that you're referring to like the perfect, good, great, like that part. So for the first question, as for like the keystrokes, we have, if you're asking about like how do you know like if it's like a revive or versus like a heal, those are different keys. So we have like little sheets of paper for all the players up here, but it's different combinations of the keys J, K, L, and I. And then I think we made the hardest one to hit, the revive, and then we have different combos based on like which keys you're pressing. And then for the metronome, we set the BPM in one of our files, and we have a metronome that's following along with the music. So we set the BPM of that to be the same as the music, and that's how we check. And we give a little bit of allowance before or after the beat, depending on like human error.
Can anyone actually like tell what the BPM is right now? Okay, it would be crazy if you guys did, because I wouldn't either. But it's actually, in honor of our class, 125 BPM. And I saw you had a question at the front. Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah. How many battle phases were there?
Oh, how many battle phases of the bear do we have? We have 4 phases. So I think last time they got to the 3rd phase. So the first one's the swiping where he follows you. The second one is the shockwave one. The third one spawns the different circles that explode. And the last one is a surprise, but there are 4.
Let's go in the front.
So it used to be pretty much guaranteed, and then we tried to make some changes to make it a little bit harder, and then it didn't quite work, so we reverted those changes. But right now, I think each of the players have 100 health, and the boss has 2,000 health, so that's why it's a little bit hard right now. But we tried to do some balancing changes, and that's fine.
Yeah, personally, I think I made this phase a little bit too hard. I just kept increasing the sizes of those circles in the ground, the little meteors or little spike areas. I was like, hey guys, this doesn't look too big, right? And everyone was like, oh, we should be okay. And it just kept going up. Did you have a question? Unique challenge we faced while implementing the phases.
Well, for the enemy attacks, which Adrian and I worked on, we have a couple of like different pieces of logic that we had to implement, not only to like change the phase, which is based on the boss health, but also based on that we spawned different types of attacks. So we had to make sure that worked well. And then also it became a little more complicated because obviously we don't have just one type of boss attack. We have a bunch of them. We had to make sure they all worked. For example, the swipe. So Adrian created all the colliders, which is how we tell if you've been hit or not. And we had different types of colliders. So obviously the circles on the ground are just cylinders. And the stomp attack had to be like an expanding cylinder. But because we didn't want just like a simple cylinder, we wanted to only be on the wavefront that you get damaged. We also had to create an inner and an outer ring to make sure that you were within those bounds, and that's when you get hit. Versus the swipe was a sector. So we had to create different types of colliders as well as different ways to like tell if you've been inside of the attack.
All right, any more questions? One more question? Is there one more? Great.
It's not technical, but I noticed the boss used the right hand mainly. I was imagining him using both hands, if possible. Was that possible? Or it would have been meaner, but I mean, he could have killed them all.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think it was just like a stylistic choice. Actually, for the last phase, I'll spoil it because it doesn't look like we're going to get there. But it's a laser attack. So there's 3 lasers that circle around the... 4? Oh, it used to be 3. Now it's 4 lasers that circle around the boss. And then he kind of like goes like this. So he uses both his hands on that one. So we got there. I guess you would see it. But yeah, the other ones, they just use the right hand just because for the swipe, I think it made more sense that he was only swiping with one hand. And then for the one that had all the cylinders on the ground, we thought it was kind of like a magician, like summoning down like some kind of like lightning strike or like explosion. So that's why it was a single hand. But it was just stylistic choice. Yeah.
Okay, we will take one more. Come on.
Okay.
So what sorts of network latencies sort of are, because this is a time-based game, right? So presumably there's some things that crop up with data going across the network. How does that manage?
Yeah, so so the question is about latencies and if that caused any problems because obviously our game has a lot of reliance on the latency and like being on beat. So one thing that's really great about the demo machines is that the latency between that and the server is pretty low, so we didn't have any problems there. But as for the game, there is like a slight difference when you play the game. Sometimes some of the clients will play like the music at, like started at different times. So generally, it's most helpful if you can have the audio on your like for your personal computer. But we also added like because of that, we added some like visual cues. Like I don't know if you noticed, but like behind the buildings, there were like circles or like spheres that were pulsing to also help that if you weren't able to hear super well, or if there's some like weird issues, which we didn't see a lot of, but if there were some issues, then you could have visual cues to tell when the beat was. And also in the middle, there was like the red square that would also beat. Yeah.
All right, let's congratulate group 2.
Thank you.